Okay.
Good evening and welcome to our Testimonial Tuesday for Tuesday, June 28th. Yeah, I think that's right, 2016. My name is Vicki Drobness and I'm a Ruby Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide and a Diamond in Qualification because that is my ultimate goal. And I am beyond thrilled to have my friend Isabel from Canada with us tonight. Isabel and I have known each other for, 7 or 8 years, I guess, at least. Probably knew each other longer on the forums on TTAP and just had not met until we certified. But she and I are both TTAP trainers, and we always have a lot of fun getting together for the annual TTAP retreat. And that's usually the only time I get to see this lovely lady, is once a year there. But I am so excited because I get to see her at least twice this year because I get to see her, we just were together at convention, and then I get to see her again at the TTAP retreat in about 6 weeks. So I want to say welcome to Isabel, and so glad that you are joining us. Now, tell us just briefly about where you are right now.
Thank you. I'm a Plexus ambassador, and where I am, like right now in the world.
The fact that you can do this wherever you may happen to be, because you're not at home. You are doing some fun stuff.
I'm on a hiking trip with my husband, and we're in a city called Owen Sound, and we are accomplishing a 900-kilometer hike in bits and pieces. So on our vacation this week, we're hiking for 4 days and loving it.
That's cool. And I think you said that you've been using the new product Plexus Edge, and that's been a nice little boost to your hike.
Yep, the Edge is a boost, and because meal choices sometimes aren't the greatest, Block is coming in handy as well.
Oh, yes. That's awesome. Yeah, that's been a nice thing. We thoroughly enjoyed having that at convention. So before I have Isabel go through and share with you her perspective on convention, and also because she is in Canada, so she's considered an international ambassador. And so they had a couple, that 1 or 2 sessions that were different. One session. Because there are some differences as Plexus expands into other countries, so I want her to share that. But before I do that, I'm going to share my screen. So as soon as it pops up, there we go, so that I can go through our disclosure just to make sure we are compliant. Okay. All right. So this presentation is brought to you by independent Plexus ambassadors and is not sponsored by Plexus Worldwide. The Plexus ambassadors, the independent Plexus ambassadors and Plexus Worldwide do not claim to cure, treat, or prevent any disease and take no responsibility for personal actions taken by any viewer. Plexus makes no guarantees on income, as such representations may be misleading. Your success depends on your effort, commitment, skill, and leadership abilities and how effectively you exercise those qualities. Please see the Plexus annual income disclosure statement for more details. All inspirational testimonies and tips should not be considered medical or financial advice and are not representative of Plexus Worldwide. They are tips, inspiration, and motivation based solely on the personal results or opinions of the participants. So, as you are listening to Isabel share her experience at convention and some of the differences between being a United States ambassador and an international ambassador, think about who do you know in Canada, who do you know in Australia, who do you know in New Zealand. Those are the 3 countries that we can have ambassadors in right now, and they are looking at more. I mean, the name is Plexus Worldwide, so we are looking at more countries, but Plexus is not going to just jump into any country. We want to do it the right way and make sure that we're following the requirements of that particular country because there are differences. So it is time to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to turn it over to Isabel, and I'm going to mute myself and just share away, hon.
Okay. So my first experience with the convention was, I was awestruck. So many people. And what kept going through my mind was 5 years ago, they only had 248 people. And this time we had about 12,000. We were in the MGM Grand. It was huge. It was so smooth, so well put together. And it was very motivating. The speakers were Rita Davenport and another gentleman, can't remember his name, I've got it written down here, but he spoke about leadership. And that was one thing that really struck me was he had several tips, and one was be a lighthouse. And when you are a lighthouse, nobody needs you when it's sunny. You are the backdrop of some pictures, but not very useful. But when it's dark, stormy, and gloomy, everybody needs the lighthouse. So that was a really good takeaway. And see, I'm not looking at my notes for that one, so I really remembered that one. But also just his authenticity and being real about leadership. And it wasn't something that you have to study. It comes naturally, and you work on it also. But he had such great tips. Rita Davenport was hilarious, but also all throughout the whole event, the integrity and the care that Plexus takes in dealing with its ambassadors and their decision making. Everything they decide, it has to be good for the company, but also good for the ambassadors. And any one of us, we can attest to all the changes they've been making and how smooth things progress. I say smoothly because I don't get put off by little delays or glitches. I work in the IT world, and as a project manager, I know that these things happen. But the way that they have handled it, and with transparency and lots of communication, it speaks volumes. They promise that these things will be done in a certain amount of time. They get it done earlier, and they communicate. So that really spoke volumes to me progressively, but also at convention. Everything was so smooth, and I was thrilled with the Edge product that came out. I loved everything at the store. My new purse is adorable. I finally got a Plexus t-shirt. I got a few because I figured it would be a while before I got another one. So I got a few Plexus items. And being an international ambassador, we had a special meeting. And at this meeting, it was for people from Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. I think they planned for about 200 people. There were even more that showed it, which is a good sign. And one thing that struck me was they reminded us that we're trailblazers. Even in some states, I know that some states have more than one diamond, and there's still, lots of people who haven't heard about Plexus. Well, in Canada, we have one diamond. And so nobody can say that, the timing is off. The timing is always right, but it's nice to know that they are taking steps to make us aware of what's going on. So part of that, and now I'm just going to refer to my notes, part of that is they're planning monthly newsletters for both Canada and Australia and New Zealand. And so these are specific to what's going on in our countries, so that we know who is accomplishing what in our areas. And also they will be offering training specific to these countries so that we are up to date on what we can and can't do. Each area has its own rules and regulations, most likely. And if we follow those, then we're guaranteed that Plexus can stay in that country. If we don't, then that could be a deal breaker. Like Australia, for example, there are no success kits. In Canada, the success kit doesn't include the product cards. And I only found this out when we had Super Saturday and it looked like the product cards were missing, only to find out that they're missing on for a reason, on purpose. They're missing because they are considered to promote direct selling. And that's an issue because in Canada, we cannot sell directly to people. So nobody wants to keep stock at home, but if that's how somebody was planning on running their business, they can't keep stock at home and sell it directly. I don't know the reason why, but I suspect it's probably because nobody wants someone to be selling old product. And I love the fact that I don't need to have stock at home. So for me, it's a non-issue. Another thing is they've been training their customer service staff so that 60% right now are trained to deal with international customers and representatives. Before, less reps were trained. So now they're training more and more so that when you call, anybody can handle your issue as opposed to just one person or two that could handle international matters. They also have dedicated email addresses for us so that people see that that email came in from Canada or Australia. With Australia, there's a time zone difference. They're 15 hours different than here. So, you know, they try to answer at a specific time so they can at least catch that person while they're awake. It might be the next day, but at least the person is awake. So they've got those dedicated emails. And they're also going to be trying out live chat. And they're going to be trying that out with the international ambassadors first, roll it out to the rest of the ambassadors. So that was another nice perk, was that they fed us. And we all got a little Plexus gift, which was a little globe, a glass globe on a stand that says Plexus. And it also had the convention logo that said Dream On. So they also have two project managers, one for Canada and one for Australia and New Zealand. And, you know, they are open to feedback directly. The project manager for Canada, her name is Caroline. I didn't get her last name, but if anybody has feedback specific to their area, either Canada and Australia and New Zealand has another project manager, then they can actually contact them directly. And if you're in Canada, you already know that we have the specific email address, or New Zealand. And another great thing that they're going to do is they're going to create materials so that if you sponsor someone from Canada or someone from Australia and you're not from there, they're going to have a summary of what you can and can't do, so that both the new ambassador and you are aware of any special rules or regulations in the country that the ambassador is in. Now, I know for Australia and New Zealand, because they can't get a success kit, they're working on a product, more than just a welcome letter, but they're working on something that they can provide to replace the success kit, but just so that it works within the rules and regulations of Australia and New Zealand. So that's, in a summary, what we received as part of the Canadian or the international meeting. Another thing to know is that Plexus products and prices are all the same price. We buy them in American money. The only difference is that when we pay based on whatever the exchange rate is. So if the dollar isn't very good, then your money doesn't go as far. If the dollar is better, then you get a better deal. But all the prices are the same. Whatever you see on the website is the same for Canada and Australia. It's in American money. But we also get paid in American money. So if our dollar isn't that great, then the American Plexus money goes further. So, and if you use it to cover the price of your products, then it's even. So it's all pretty good. I'm just going to go quickly through my notes because there were a few things that really stuck out. And one thing is, it's all about mindset. So going to the convention and seeing all those people up on stage, depending on what their rank, and seeing such a wide variety of people, it really helps cement that anybody can do this. You don't need a special, diploma or anything when you start. You can learn as you go. And for me, what has always been huge has been the personal development and professional development, I guess, as well. But the personal development of our team, but also at events like this, it's just phenomenal how much you come out inspired to just keep going. And before convention, if I had, like the thoughts of quitting, it was like, well, I can't quit now because I'm going to convention. Well, going to convention and seeing all those people and knowing that if they quit, then they wouldn't be there. So you just have to keep chugging along regardless of what comes your way. Rita Davenport said that the most successful people got the most no's. So that's a great way to, think of what happens when someone says no to you. and then you do as much or as little as you can, but it's not a race, it's not a competition, so you just keep going. So just working more and more on mindset, it was such a good reminder. I was also lucky that I got to meet in person a lot more people from our team, and I hit with quite a few of them and came out with a power partner as part of the deal. So that was great. And, you know, Las Vegas has something for everything. So does the convention. You know, whatever you're dealing with, it's almost like you'll hear exactly what you need and take it away. But another thing that they had us do for fun was, well, if you took the challenge, was every day speak to 3 different people and get some tips. And it's a great way to remind you to just go up to strangers and talk to them, and know that they're not, you know, the strangers your parents warned you about as a kid. So I had a great time just going up to people and say, hey, give me a tip. And just sort of coming out of my comfort zone and talking to random strangers. And just another good thing was open your head. I don't remember who said this, but it was someone: open the door in your head, risk being seen, and dream up a good life. I think it was either Tarl or Alec at the beginning, but there were so many great things, you know, with new products coming out, block new and improved, so that if you forget to take it, it's okay. You can take it and then eat right away. I love that because I was one of the ones that kept forgetting to take block. So this way, just having it on hand. Also got a great little pill box at the store. So that came in handy for my trip right now. But Rita Davenport, she was just amazing. I loved her style with comedy and really getting good nuggets in at the same time. But, you know, like if you want your dreams to come true, you have to wake up. A lot of people think of this business as a glorified lottery ticket. At first, I was just in it to get the products at the cheapest price. And then I thought, oh yeah, you know, all those people that, you know, are interested in health and wellness, they're just going to see me post once or twice, and then they're all going to be, you know, messaging me. So it was kind of like the glorified lottery ticket thoughts that I had. And it you know, that didn't happen. But through having such a great team and a lot of the development and encouragement, I'm going to keep going. Today I gave my information to a random stranger and actually was coherent in speaking with them. And then we went to have a quick bite to eat. And my husband asked me if I wasn't going to give information to anybody else today. And they were just so busy, they got swamped right after we got there. So I didn't want to put the woman in a you know, bad place by interrupting her. So I'll have to message someone else today before the day is over. But something else that Rita said, well, she said a few things, but some of them might not be good for this recording. So I'll just refrain from those. But another one was, it costs nothing to dream, but it costs everything if you don't. So the convention being themed on dreaming and dream on, that was another good reminder. It was, it's okay to dream again. A lot of times we get jaded when we share our dreams, and you know, sometimes people will make fun of them or won't believe that they're possible, but who cares? Like, just keep dreaming. And it was such a good, a great message, and with so much comedy all in there. So, I mean, the skills and the things that were covered in the training for the new ambassadors, both speakers and the, you know, the panel, even listening to, you know, emeralds, diamonds, the different ranks that went up on stage, and each one had a spokesperson, listening to the stories, their stories, the other stories that we heard in the This is Plexus videos. Like, there was so much inspiration. It's almost hard to recap it all, but it was worth it. It was great to see you again, Vicki, obviously. But it was just such an amazing experience that I think anybody, regardless of what rank they're in, should go, because you will walk away with skills, with information that will guide you along, and not just with this business, with life in general. I mean, some of these things will carry through into other areas of your life as well. So, school is never out for the pro, said Rita. And it's so true. We always have to be learning. Everybody wants to feel important was another thing. And people will work harder for praises rather than raises. So as we're dealing with others, we have to keep these things in mind. Love on people, share with them, and you just never know who you'll be making an impact with. But for me, above all, I am learning not to judge anyone and not hold back when sharing, because you don't know what that person's going through. And also, this is all work that we have to do, but do what you don't want to do for a little while so you can do what you want to do forever. And that's really good too, because we tend to avoid things we don't want to do. Well, you don't have to do them all forever, but you have to sort of struggle through new things that push you outside your comfort zone. And then, your frame of mind will change and they won't feel so daunting. They'll come naturally. But at the beginning, you have to do some of those things that you don't really want to do or don't think you can do, so that you can sort of stretch that or build that muscle or that skill. I think that was about it that stuck out. I mean, there were so many things. As I go through my notes, I have lots of notes that I'm slowly typing so that I'll put them in to our group pages. But there's just so many things. Ask questions, share the benefits, answer questions, and then close with people. Like in 4 easy steps. That was Sheila Medina, our first ever diamond. But so many things that you can use. Like another good one when talking to people, to build rapport. Ask them questions. Ask about their family or their occupation, recreation, or their dreams. Like something in those 4 items will get them talking. And then what do you love most about your life? If you had $100 extra a week, what would you do? Like little things like that, just to get to talk to people, was really awesome. And my word, like there was just so much. Like when I skimmed through my notes, oh, and I love this one. If someone asks you if this is a pyramid, you just say, no, that's illegal, and just keep going. So it's like, why create this huge, anxiety if someone asks you? Just say no, and it's illegal, and move on. And, oh, dear Lord, let me see if I remember that gentleman's name, because he was really good. And
you're talking about John Addison?
Yes.
Yeah, he was good. Yeah.
Yeah, but he was so good. And I definitely want to read one of his books because, John Addison, I just got to that page. But everything rises and falls with leadership. And even if you don't have a team yet, you are a leader. People are watching, and they're deciding whether or not they want to join you. So you are a leader. You are a leader to the people that trust you, and they're not buying what you're selling. They're buying like you, how you are. So you are a leader. You're guiding them along. And so decide who you are. Build on your strengths, focus on what you can control. And, when we start, we get overwhelmed. I get overwhelmed easily. So, just by focusing on what I can control, is good. And then, of course, be a lighthouse. That one I loved. But I have so many things that I brought back in my notes that I'll be typing them and sharing them with everyone. But it was an amazing experience. Definitely a lot of value for the money because I signed up early and I think it was like $79 or something. And for an event that big, they definitely spent a lot more. I mean, just the dessert reception alone, it was amazing. And, you know, all the time and effort that they put into this event is just fabulous. So I definitely think everybody should go. And that's it. If anybody has any questions about life in Canada and being a Plexus ambassador in Canada, I'd be happy to help them out. Just contact me and I'll point you in the right direction.
That's awesome. You taught me something because we really didn't get a chance to talk too much about the international reception that you had. And I don't remember the globe, so I didn't remember that you got a gift. But that I did know that they were doing the monthly newsletters, and I do like that, you know, as far as not keeping stock at home. I mean, I don't do that. That's one of the perks I love about Plexus is that you don't have to keep stock, so that you know that whenever your customer or your ambassador is getting their product when they order it, they're getting the freshest supply, and it hasn't sat in somebody's garage for a year or so.
Exactly.
And so you know that it's nice and fresh. What else? You had told me about it being there were more people there than they thought, than they initially planned for. I love that they're doing the live chat. That's going to be really helpful because particularly like with Australia and New Zealand being on a different time zone, a big different time zone, not just a couple of hours.
Yeah.
That's going to be great. And the project managers, I didn't know about that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And interestingly, I did not know this about, I knew the products were the same price as they are in the United States, but I didn't know that they were paying you in the same price. So if your products are costing more and then they're paying you more, then it's kind of like a nice little compensation to have is that you're getting paid in the American dollars. Yeah. You kind of froze there.
Definitely.
Oh, there she is. She's back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a nice perk. And since you're getting paid at the same rate or the same dollar as the products, then I can use the money directly in my pool, like the Plexus, whatever that payment thing is.
The pay portal,
and I can apply that money. That pay portal, yes.
Yeah.
I can apply that directly to my products.
Yeah.
And shipping to Canada is about $10 to $12, which I find pretty reasonable considering other shipping that I've had to pay for other companies. So I've never found it to be unreasonable considering it's coming all the way from Arizona.
Yeah, and they are getting ready to give the options, like if you absolutely have to have it overnight, they are going to have some overnight options that are coming. They're not there yet, but that would be something if somebody is out of product and they need it right then, or they're getting ready to travel and they need it, then that's a great thing to know that will be an option coming up to be, to be able to have that. And again, it's going to cost more because but that happens if you overnight a document now. Is, you know, it costs more. You're paying for the convenience, and it can be done, but you pay for that. What was the other that you said? I loved all the speakers. I agree with you. Just so motivational. Oh, and saying about, you know, you bought your ticket early, $79. We did that too, and then Plexus gives you the opportunity to be able to earn credit back so that you get that reimbursed. And then you wouldn't have been able to see Little Big Town, who was the final concert. You would not have been able to see them for $79 a person. I highly doubt it, to be able to go to a concert of theirs. And then to look at the dessert reception, which also had a band.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I loved it. I danced. I boogied.
But so they had a band, and then you had the winner's dinner, which people earned and Plexus put on, and that they had entertainment. So there were several different options on that. Plexus has said before, convention and leaders retreat is not something that they do to make money. That's not what they're doing with it. It's to invest in their ambassadors. And that speaks volumes when, having worked in corporate businesses before and even in education, you don't see a lot of that. They ask you to do certain training because they want you to do it, but they don't always pay for it. Some places do, but some places don't. You're just expected to do it on your own. And what better way to be able to do this and to be able to have something that's fun and to have that many people there. I mean, 12,000 people. Last year was around about 7,000 in Phoenix. So it was, and we were in like a ballroom area. So like where we had the dessert reception, it was about that size, maybe bigger. It was probably a little bigger than that, but it was not an arena that we have. So it's amazing. And just to go hear those speakers, you'd easily pay $50 a head to be able to go hear the speakers. And we had two great keynote speakers, and then Victor Antonio is the MC, who is also a motivational speaker. So you got way more than your money's worth.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely. So if someone was to ask you about, okay, I've heard what you said. What if I have to make a decision now? Do I join Plexus as an ambassador? What would you tell them?
Definitely. I mean, I love a good deal, so why not? And especially the other thing that they announced at convention, all that success material that we're going to have for free, getting the products at the cheapest price and having access to all that personal development material, it just sweetens the deal. There's so much that you can get, even if you never do anything other than be a wholesale customer. The amount of information that you'll have at your fingertips once that opens up is amazing.
Oh yeah.
So it's icing on the cake, and it's free.
Yeah, that was amazing that they were doing that. The Success on Demand, I think, is what it's called, and it's a subscription that Plexus is going to pay for ambassadors to be able to access. And like Isabel said, it doesn't matter if you're a diamond or you just joined in order to get the best possible price, you'll have access to that material so that you can use it in your job, in your life, as being a parent, whatever you come across, being active in your community. You'll be able to take this information and be able to study it, and it'll be podcasts and videos and ebooks, things that we'll be able to, that would cost you easily probably $10 to $20 to download a book, even on a Kindle or some other type of Nook device. So anyway, the investment that Plexus puts in us is truly amazing, and so not the norm in network marketing or corporate marketing for that matter. So anyway, Isabel, thank you so much. I'm so glad that we got to do this so that you'll be able to share that, because there's so much good information that now I know how to share this with people that I may know in Canada, Australia, or New Zealand, and to be able to share that information. And that I'll have this up in definitely our group page. But also I'm going to add it into some of the other group pages, because I haven't seen anybody post this as an international perspective. So this will be, you'll be helping to train other ambassadors to know more about that, because a lot of them we were not invited to the international reception because we're not international. So that worked out really well. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it so much.
It's been my pleasure.
Yeah, and enjoy the rest of your hike. Go soak your feet or rub some cream on them. And we will chat, and I'll see you in about 6 weeks.
All right, take care.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Love you. All right, good night, everybody.